Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're embarking on a deep dive into the fascinating world of ancient Egyptian celebrations. We're focusing specifically on that really enduring figure, Anubis.
Yes, he's certainly compelling.
Our sources, well, they paint this picture of a time when community, ritual, and this profound belief in the afterlife weren't just ideas. They were like the very fabric of everyday life, all woven together.
Absolutely.
Interconnected. So our mission with this deep dive is to go beyond just, the basics. We want to really grasp how these ancient festivals weren't just events like dates on a calendar.
Right, more than just a party.
Exactly. There were these vibrant threads weaving together a society's faith, its social structure, even its hopes for the future. We're going to try and uncover the sensory experiences, the deep meaning, and sort of the lasting legacy behind honoring this guardian, this figure who walked between worlds.
And what's particularly insightful here, I think, is how these ancient practices, even with their, unique cultural context, they reveal these remarkably universal aspects of human connection, how we understand loss, our belief systems.
That's a great point.
We're aiming to go beyond just listing facts. We want to immerse you, the listener, in the experience of these celebrations.
Right. What did it feel like?
Exactly. Exploring what they truly meant for the people there and maybe why they still resonate somehow.
Absolutely. So let's start by trying to place you, the listener, right in that moment. Imagine being part of this community, taking part in what our sources call a time of celebration, a time where the entire community, from the top, the pharaoh, right down to the farmers would come together.
So really society-wide.
Yes, not just a small thing. A societal event. And the focus. What was the absolute central point of these big gatherings?
Anubis, right.
Yeah, our research makes it crystal clear. They were primarily held to honor Anubis. He's always highlighted not just as some distant god, but as the protector, a figure of real, practical importance.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture of their society.
Okay.
These festivals were absolutely fundamental. They were key in forging this strong sense of shared identity, shared purpose.
So it wasn't just about individual belief.
No, it went beyond that. It was about uniting people in faith, in their shared understanding of how the world, the cosmos, worked.
And Anubis as protector. That must have been huge for their sense of security.
Hugely central,
Yeah.
especially for a community so focused on the afterlife. Think about it. A god who literally guides the dead.
You'd want him on your side.
Precisely. So this raises a really interesting question for us. How did these very organized collective experiences, these festivals, how did they not only solidify personal belief, but also, reinforce the social bonds? The hierarchy even, within that complex society.
So they served a social function too.
It really suggests these celebrations were a critical anchor for both their spiritual and their communal lives.
That's fascinating how the individual belief and the collective experience were so tightly linked. Really makes you think about the power of shared ritual.
It does.
But okay, to really get it, we need to move beyond the idea. What did these celebrations actually feel like?
The sensory experience.
Exactly. Here's where our sources start to paint a more vivid picture. We get a sense of the sacred rituals involved. Can you picture it? The air, thick with incense, the rhythmic pulse of music filling the space.
Definitely not a quiet affair.
No, not passive observation. How did these powerful sensory things play into it? And how do people actively listen to the stories and honor Anubis through these very carefully planned acts?
It sounds incredibly immersive, maybe even a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, what's truly fascinating here is that these weren't just ceremonies you watched. They were meticulously designed multi-sensory experiences.
Multi-sensory. Okay.
Intended to connect participants deeply with the divine, yes, but also with the departed and, crucially, with each other.
So the incense, for example.
Right, take the incense. It wasn't just, for a nice smell. Sources often talk about it purifying the space, calling the gods.
Creating an atmosphere.
Exactly. That distinct smell would immediately hit you, engage your sense of smell, creating this almost transportive, sacred feeling.
And the music.
The music, too. Far more than just background noise. It was rhythmic, maybe hypnotic sometimes. Chants, percussion, working alongside the visual stuff.
Like what?
Well, imagine the elaborate priestly clothes, the
Yeah.
ritual movements, the sacred statues or effigies.
Okay, I can picture that.
Together, all these elements created an environment that was just incredibly conducive to spiritual reflection, to communal memory.
And the stories. You mentioned stories.
Yes, the stories of Anubis, his role in mummification, guiding souls, the weighing of the heart,
Yeah.
they weren't just read aloud.
How were they told?
They were dramatized,
Yeah.
sung, woven right into the ritual itself, making his story vivid, emotionally real, undeniable for everyone there.
So the rituals were like living expressions of their faith.
Exactly,
Yeah.
a living, breathing embodiment of faith, designed to be seen, heard, smelled, and really deeply felt.
Wow, that sounds like a total sensory immersion, designed to leave a real mark.
It would have, yes.
It really drives home the meaning behind it all. So, okay, pulling back a bit. What does this all mean for how they understood life and death?
The big questions.
Yeah. Our sources keep showing these festivals were fundamentally about honoring the afterlife. And through them, the community would celebrate his influence on the journey.
His role was key.
So this wasn't just about their life on Earth, was it? How did these festivals frame that complex journey beyond life? And why was Anubis so crucial for it to go well?
That's the core of it, really.
And it also mentions an offering of gratitude. What were they thanking him for specifically in this really deep spiritual context?
Well, this raises that important question again. How did these celebrations reinforce their belief in a structured, yes, but also quite perilous passage to the afterlife?
Structured but dangerous.
Yes, and Anubis was the absolutely key, you could say indispensable figure in navigating it. Remember, he was the god of mummification, the divine embalmer. That was step one, preserving the body, which they believed was vital for the soul, the Ka and Abba, to survive.
Right, mummification was essential.
Essential, but he was also the guide, the psychopomp, the one who led souls through the dangers of the duat, the underworld.
To the final judgment.
To the Hall of Two Truths, exactly, for the weighing of the heart against Mot's feather. So, by celebrating his influence, the community was actively reinforcing their profound faith in the power of the afterlife.
And in his ability to help.
And in Anubis's benevolent guiding hand within it. The festivals, with all their rituals and stories, were this tangible, collective way for the living to interact with that whole belief system.
Like reaching out across the veil?
In a way, yes. Offering reassurance to themselves and maybe to their departed loved ones that the journey was understood, managed, overseen by this capable, protective guardian.
Okay, so the offering of gratitude.
That becomes this really profound act. Thanks for Anubis's unwavering role in guiding souls safely, for ensuring existence continued beyond physical death.
And hoping for a good outcome.
And, by extension, for the hope of a favorable judgment, a peaceful eternity in the field of reeds. It was deep trust, reverence, and, well, existential hope, all bundled together.
It really paints this picture of a society deeply, practically connected to the spiritual realm. Death wasn't just an end, but this crucial, guided transition.
Very much so.
But these celebrations, they weren't just about the present moment or even just the immediate afterlife journey, were they? They had this ripple effect into the future.
Cultural continuity.
Right. Our sources say the power of celebration, the festivals helped preserve all. That's a huge claim. How did repeating these rituals and stories actually achieve that?
It seems like more than just remembering.
Yeah, more than passive remembering, doesn't it? And what about this idea of the living legacy, the legacy of Anubis, a guardian? The festivals live on. What's the deeper meaning there for understanding their culture?
Well, what's truly insightful here, I think, is how the actual act of celebrating together became this incredibly powerful, dynamic way to ensure cultural continuity.
Dynamic, how so?
It wasn't just entertainment or even solely religious duty. It was a living process, making sure that knowledge, core beliefs, vital traditions weren't just passed down, but were actively re-experienced, embodied, internalized by every new generation.
So the repetition was key.
Absolutely. The repeated rituals and stories weren't just things you heard, they were vital teaching tools, almost like a living textbook.
A living textbook, I like that.
Imagine kids watching these elaborate scenes, hearing the chants, smelling the incense. They weren't just learning fact off of papyrus.
They were feeling it.
They were feeling their heritage, understanding their place in the cosmos, internalizing the prayers and steps needed for their own eventual journey.
So it kept Anubis relevant.
Exactly. It kept the legacy of Anubis alive and relevant, not as some dusty historical fact, but as a living, guiding presence right there in the community's consciousness.
Wow. So the festivals weren't just looking back.
No, they were actively shaping and ensuring the future of their beliefs, their identity, the very fabric of their society. It's really a testament to the power of shared experience against, the passage of time.
What an incredible multi-layered journey we've taken today, right into the heart of ancient Egypt.
It's a rich subject.
We've really moved beyond the surface, I think,
Yeah.
exploring that vibrant community spirit, the immersive rituals, connecting them to the divine.
The sensory aspect?
Yes, and that profound connection to the afterlife, the journey, and the sheer power of celebration itself to not just express, but actively preserve a whole culture.
Hmm.
It really shows how deeply ingrained, how functionally vital these beliefs and practices were for them.
And if we try to connect this to the bigger picture, stepping back,
Yeah.
it really highlights something profoundly human, doesn't it? How we use collective celebration, ritual,
Hmm.
not just to express beliefs we already hold.
But to actually build things.
Yes. To actively build and reinforce community, to transmit culture across generations, and to collectively find meaning in life's biggest questions. Even that ultimate mystery, the journey beyond.
It's a powerful thought.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What modern traditions, maybe gatherings that seem quite ordinary on the surface.
Like holidays or family reunions.
Perhaps, no matter how different they look, could they be fulfilling a similar role for us today? Maybe unconsciously preserving our own stories, our sense of belonging, our shared values.
Something to think about. A really interesting question to leave our listeners with.